cold. We was in shorts and sitting poolside and soaking up the sun. And for what day was that? The 25th. The 25th for 4.5 hours. We was just being lazy around the poolside, just relaxing. But it was good. It was good. Say toda to y'all for just being able to leave and rest, and everything just goes on like it's supposed to. Toda to Koti Wash on last Wednesday in the Torah Study, and Toda More Gerard on Shabbat, teaching we had on Shabbat. And so we just want to praise the Most High for all his goodness and wonderful works unto the children of men. There's a day coming you will rejoice. When all this goes out, plays out, and you're able to be amongst his people and see our King, our Messiah, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be happy. It's gonna be a joyous time. All your troubles. We used to sing that song, "Trouble, heartaches, and pain will one day soon be over." When you see the Messiah be with his people, amongst his nation, amongst his people, it's all your heartache, all your sorrows, all the tough times, everything you had to endure. You had to endure family and around the holidays. All that's going to be past. That's going to be small in comparison. My family's mad at me because we didn't give gifts and we didn't celebrate. When you get in the kingdom, all that ain't gonna be nothing. That's gonna be so small. You're gonna look back at that and say, "Man, what? I can't even believe I sweat." During that time, because what's coming for his people is nothing that is compared to today. You can't compare what he's going to do for his people to any of the heartache, the setbacks, the troubles, the disappointments, the feelings of do I have to? A lot of times when it's time for us to put some work in for him, and it's like, man, do I have to? We get all disgusted. He might say, "Show up to my house." Do I have to? Can I stay home? Can I do this? I got to tend to my babies. I got work. I got to, we tend to make excuses. But I pray that the Most High can give you a glimpse and just a feeling, even if it's just a past feeling, of what it's going to be like to be in the midst of a nation where everybody's on one accord, singing, rejoicing, shouting out, seeing our Messiah, seeing him on the throne, visiting with him, visiting with his people. I mean, it's just going to be a grand time that nothing that we experience is compared to it. Now we've been in church services where the spirit is high, and we say the spirit is high, and we're in those church services, and we think nothing can compare to that. But you haven't seen nothing yet. You just haven't seen anything yet when we're able to come together, and you look around, and it's a people that is so numerable, and you can't see the end of it. You just can't see the end of it. Where's as far as I can see, I just see his people. You looking all around, that's all you can see is people. I mean, that's about 1,000, 2,000 deep. We just keep looking around, and everybody's on one accord, and everybody serving him, and you start to see the power of Yah from the Shamayim's. And I just we wonder a lot of times when we talk about the children of Israel and how they came out of Egypt, and then how they heard his voice. Can you imagine that? Just hearing his voice, and his voice was so loud and so forceful that it shook the mountaintops. And fire was on the mountaintops, and it was so loud and so forceful that the people told Moses, "No, Moses, you talk to him. We don't want to talk. We don't want to talk to him. You represent us. You speak to him and have him speak to you. We don't want to hear it." And just the fright that was in the people. Well, that day's going to come around again. It's going to come around again, where we're going to come out from the four corners, because it was prophesied, and that's the danger of life today, is not understanding prophecy and how this is going to finish up. If you go to a Christian church and they can't tell you how this thing's going to finish up, you're going to be in danger. It's really going to take people by surprise, and some people are going to reject it. It's sad to say, but some of his people are going to reject our Messiah. And y'all heard that before. He ain't gonna take nobody kicking and scratching. Don't want to go. Y'all heard it's gonna be like that too. When it's time to go, and we got to go see our king, and we got to get up out of here, and we got to go. It's a long journey. I don't feel like making. I don't want to go. I don't believe that. I ain't going. Well, then stay. Then stay, and then you have to endure the frightful end of a nation that never loved you. Never loved you. And you're going to have to be amongst a people that don't care about you. And when it comes time to who's going to live, who's going to die, they're going to choose their life over yours all the time. All the time. And that's who you're going to stay with. It's going to be, I just, sometimes I wonder, y'all can show them, give us a glimpse. Give us just a glimpse of how this is going to be, so that it can build a fire in them. Like Jeremiah, like he said about his word was like fire shut up in his bones. Like fire shut up in his bones. And so we want it to be like fire unto us. All right. So let's go before the Most High. Let's give him some prayer call, going up unto him. Abba, Todah Rabbah, Baruch Yom, Todah Rabbah, allowing us to come into this sanctuary that is consecrated and set apart for truth, for your Ruach, for the glory and the honor of the Most High and your only begotten Son, Yahusha. We assemble ourselves willingly. We come before thee with a willing heart. We come before thee with the understanding, Abba, that you require of us to search the scriptures, for in them we think we have eternal life. And on tonight, we're going to search and read through the scriptures, knowing, Abba, that you have given them unto us. We pray, Abba, and we ask that you be mindful of those who are in the sanctuary right now, that you would bring healing to the body. Remember those who are absent. Coty Tiffany McNeil and her prayer requests for healing in her body. Remember Coty Belinda Acaboni. overshadow her from head to toe, bring healing to the body. Abba, we know that healing is the children's bread, as Yahusha has said. So we're asking for healing upon our bodies, those who are absent on tonight. Remember those who will be viewing on the platforms that we're on, that your name will be glorified. You receive the praise, glory, and honor. We thank you. We say Todah. You receive the glory and the praise. And in Yahusha's name we say hallelujah, and it is so. Hallelujah. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear the shofars. Let's go. Let's go. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, I forgot about the baby. We started the baby. I was enjoying. Did y'all hear something today? Did y'all hear anything that was outside like it was blowing? Nobody heard it? We was the only one that heard it? Outside our backyard, we could hear a sound like, did you hear that too, Koti? Yeah. We heard something blowing like, what is that blowing? Was it the wind? Didn't know if it was the wind. Did you know what it was? No? Because we was, what is that? Is that the we was thinking, is that the trumpet? Is it time to go? Because we heard something blowing out there. And I do know the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., they have the siren that goes off 10 a.m. every Tuesday morning. But this was Wednesday, and it wasn't the first Tuesday of the month. And it was just whistling and blowing, and maybe it was the wind, but yeah, it was blowing. So we know the day is coming where the trumpet is going to sound, and it's going to sound it's going to sound loud, and we're going to hear it. And those who have an ear, y'all remember what Yahusha said? My people hear my voice. My sheep hear my voice, and another they will not follow, because they hear the voice of Yahusha. And so those who are following the Ruach, and the Ruach is in them, then they're going to hear the sound of the trumpet, because he says, my people hear my voice, and another they will not follow. All right. We're going to go through some verses on today. We're going to start in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra. We're going to go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse number 22. Verse number 22. Y'all had a good time last week and over the Shabbat. We was able to view it, say Todah to the Most High for the platforms, the technology that we can be a part of the services here when we're absent. Now, I much rather be in the midst of you, and in the midst of the praises and just having the fellowship. I much rather do that. But so we had the next best thing. Y'all had the best thing. We had the next best thing, and we was able to put it up on the monitor, pretty big monitor, and view the Shabbat service. So on 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse number 22, 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 5 and verse 22. Has anybody read the Apocrypha? Has anybody ever? Some of it, and it's it's going to take me. It's going to take me a while, probably over a year, maybe 2 years, to really study, to really get into it, because there's so much there. It's addition to what we already know. It's a time period between. It's a time period between the prophets and the first coming of our Messiah. his the days of his flesh. So you have a time period in there, and they call it apocrypha because the apocrypha means it's the lost books. But if we're reading out of the apocrypha, then obviously it's not lost. You can't read something and study something that is lost. So that it's not lost, and it has never been lost. It was a part of the first King James, the first edition of the King James back in 1611. It was a part of that. Actually, they've had scrolls of writings from the first century and the second century and the third century. They've had them all this time. What we're reading here is not new. It's not new. In fact, they've had writings from other prophets, and that dates back before our Messiah came. They have writings in the first century, things that they have not allowed us to read and study. The tragedy of it is it wasn't even written to them. It was not written to Caesar. It wasn't written to Rome. It wasn't written to Constantine. It wasn't written to none of them. But yet they've been the custodians of these writings, and they've kept them, and they've hidden them from us. They've hijacked a lot of the books, and they've hijacked and co-opted the narrative of the book. And I want to say these young men, these young brothers, teenagers that are here today, it is critical for you to know and to understand the teachings of this book. This is more important than your math test when you go back to school. It's more important than your American government class. What else? What other kind of classes y'all take? I don't even know what they take anymore. It's more important than PE. What else do y'all take? You got English, comparative writing, science. That's a science. It's good. Science, Benny. Geometry. I mean, you got Jaden. Chemistry. Ooh, chemistry. Chemistry. You know, this book here is more important than all of that. It's more important than all that. And a lot of the things that you're learning in those classrooms and stuff, they're not going to benefit you. Ain't going to. This will. This will. This is something, this is like a treasure you put in your treasure chest that you're going to use the rest of your life. Chemistry, mathematics, science, astrology. If anybody wants to be an astronaut. And Ava, how old is she now? 12? Almost a teenager. I mean, what this is more important than all of that. Now, you have to take those classes to get your grade in school to advance, gain your knowledge, your core knowledge. You need those things to advance and to advance in life, be productive. Don't be a menace to society, but be an addition and productive, be an asset, be a treasure to society. But this is more important. This is more important because there was a commandment that was given unto us that the fathers are supposed to teach their sons. And you don't just teach it to them, but you teach them how to teach. You have to teach them how to teach so that it's carried on from generation to generation. If you don't get this, and not only this, but there's a lot of other things, we can't cover everything in the 2 meetings that we have, and if we did some classes online, we couldn't cover everything that you need because they are erasing and getting rid of a lot of history that if you don't try to grasp and get a hold of it, it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. We must value. All right, let me repeat that. We must value this book, this teaching. You must value it. What did Job say about his word? He said it's more important than my necessary food. And y'all know we like to eat. Hey, we ain't going to miss too many meals. I know that's right. I can say amen myself. Because we ain't going to miss too many meals. But Job said this book is more important than is necessary food. I can go without eating, but I can't go without this. We have to get this. They are taking so much away from us. You got to realize that, and you got to grab a hold of it, and they're going to get to the point where you won't even be able to research it, or if you research it, AI is going to take over and mislead you. You can't always trust AI. You can't always trust them AI to tell you the truth. That's why he tells us in our book, in the 23rd chapter of Proverbs, he says, buy the truth and sell it not. That's what he said. So you better buy the truth and sell it not. So our pursuit of truth. So in 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 22, I'm going to read down here. Listen to what he says. And my soul recovered the ruach of understanding. And I began to talk with the Most High again. So you have to go up and read it. But this whole conversation that he had, and if you don't, and young men, if you don't get into a habit and a practice of wanting to talk to him, just talk to him. Just kind of meditate on him. Just talk to him. He's right there. He's right here. He's by your bedside. You just want to take some time and get into your closet, get into that secret place, and just talk to him. He'll meet up with you. You ought to want him to meet up with you. Because I know a lot of times we get attracted. We want certain people. Can we meet up? Can I slide in with? No. Meet up with the Most High. Right? Meet up with him. Set a specified time and place to where it's you and him. You'll be surprised. He'll start dealing with your mind. You start dealing with your intellect. He'll lead you. The Ruach will lead you. So listen what he says. And I began to talk with the Most High again and said, O Adonai, O Yod-He Ud-He, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one vine. Verse 24, and of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And of all the flowers thereof, one lily. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. And all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself. Are you seeing a pattern here? And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. Whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved above all. The pattern is that Abba is very selective. Very selective. It's throughout this whole book. This book was not written to every nation under heaven. It wasn't. The narrative that they give you is that, yeah, this is for the whole world. That's not true. That is not true. Now, you don't have to believe this, but a day of reckoning is coming where he's going to make all the unbelievers, they're going to be believers after a while. It says in Romans, the 8th chapter, he says the whole world waiteth. You know what the whole world is waiting for? The manifestation of the sons of Yah. That's in this book. The world is waiting for the manifestations of the sons of Yah. That's important. You are important. You're important because he chose you. What did you do? Well, ask yourself, Abba, what did I do to make you choose me? What did I do? Because it's testified. He says, when you was polluted in your own blood, I chose you. I with love bands, I wrapped it around you and I loved you. When you was messed up, nothing but a criminal, I loved you. I wonder, is that something we really appreciate today? Do you appreciate how special and how valuable you are to the Most High? Is that something, ask yourself, is that something that I treasure? That me, myself, and I, he can singly look down. Because, a lot of times the way I look at it, I say, I ain't worthy of your love, your recognition to me and what you do for me. I'm talking about on a daily. I'm just really not worthy. I mean, I tell them Todah every day. I thank them every day. I'm not saying I'm worthy of that. Because if you really look at it, none of us are worthy. None of us are worthy. It's what is worthy is his selection. So when he chooses you, now what you going to do with it? What do you do with it? He even says here, and thou gave us a law that is approved of all. He gave a fiery law unto those that he chosen, which are called saints. They're saints. If you have no law, then you're an ain't. Not a saint. Because as soon as you say you're a saint, that means you're governed by law. How do we know that? How do we know that? Yeah. It was given to the one people. So if somebody asks you, prove it, where's that at? I want to read it. That he gave us all those who are called saints have a fiery law. If you don't have a fiery law, then you're not a saint. Right here, okay? In verse number 27, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. Right? Where else can we go? Because we called it out. We'll go there. I was just wondering if you knew. In Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse number 2. Deuteronomy 33 and 2. Because if somebody tells you, I'm a saint and I ain't got no law, Get that law out of here. I'm a saint. You know what? You are a saint with no law? Well, let's define it by book. Don't believe me. Let's go to the book and read it. Okay? Verse number 2, 33 and 2. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 2. And he said, Yahuwah came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. These were the ones in the wilderness. 10,000 of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for those 10,000s of saints. So if you a saint with no law, then you a ain't. You an ain't. Because every saint is governed by law. It's the Romans who co-opted our book and said, you're not under no law. You don't need no law. You just live by faith. And by what else? By faith? Yeah, by faith. I'm saved by faith. And grace. Grace saves me. Right? Is that what they say? Verse 3, yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive of thy words. And so, the words that we receive from the Most High Yah, from the words that we receive from the Shamim, what are they called? What are those called? Oracles. Exact oracles. And that's why when they heard those oracles, they was, no, you speak to Moses and have Moses give us those oracles. Not you, because it was so frightful. But oracles are the words that comes down from the Shamaim, from the Most High. They're called oracles. And he gave them to his saints. That's why he says in Hebrews, the 5th chapter, I think it's verse 12, what does he say? I have to teach you again, which would be the first principles of the oracles. Talking to saints. So I just thought I'd throw that out there because a lot of people don't want nothing governed over them. They said they're saved by grace. All right, well, let's look at it. Well, I want to establish something. Let's go to Isaiah 44, verse 1. Are y'all special? Yeah, we're special. And I'm not saying that out of pride for your own self, because we're only 7 pounds of dirt. I'm not saying that out of pride, but you're special because Yah chose you. That's why you're special. And we're going to go further in 2nd Ezra chapter 5, especially as we read towards the end of that, then go into because there's some things that he lays out that it's going to take the Most High to open your understanding. It's going to take the Most High because there's a lot of things in this book here that's locked. There's parabolic chambers that you have access to if the Most High opens it up to you. You do have access to that to walk through that. There's things in this book that you'll never get in a Christian church. You'll never get. Because the Christian church is talking about the rapture and you going to heaven and that's it. They've missed so much. So much they've missed. And the Most High can heal. if you're sincere and you walk with him, he'll give you an understanding. Like I said, it's going to take me 2-3 years to really dig into the Apocrypha. There's a lot there, especially in the 5th chapter, but of 2nd Ezra chapter 5. And I might just read something, and I'm just going to read it, and you can read it, and I'm not going to really expound on it, but I'm just going to read it, and I just want to see and maybe even look at the expression on your faces when we read it. Now, we might just be bewildered. What's that word mean? Amazed, confused, bewildered, astonished. I don't know. And it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, he's got to know. I don't know it all. I don't know how many, just recently, I don't know how many times I've been reading 2nd Ezra. I mean, I'm just keep reading it. And there's a lot of things I don't know. But if you walk with him and you have that secret place with him and you ask him, just like 2nd Ezra, well, we might as well go. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra. Let's go back there, chapter 5. I think we finished up at verse number 27. And let's read verse number 28. Let's just read down through this and see what you think. Verse number 28. And now, O Yod-Heh-Ud-Heh, why hast thou given this one people over unto many? And upon one root hast thou prepared others, and why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? I mean, would you ask Yah? I think we would. We might ask him, you get into that secret place. Why? These young men, have y'all ever asked why? Why? Why life? Why am I in this family? Have y'all ever asked that? Did your kids ever ask, why am I here? I didn't ask to be born. That's right. You hear that a lot by kids, right? I didn't ask to be born. Why am I here? I didn't choose you as my dad. I didn't choose you as my mom. I mean, that's what he's asking. Why? What? Because I'm going to see if y'all know Yah. Okay. Verse number 29. And they which did gainsay thy promises and believe not thy covenants, didn't believe thy covenants, have trodden them down. So the people who don't even believe in our covenants are over us, and we're at their feet. They're trodden us down. If thou didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands. You hear that? Would if you had a whole bunch of kids and all of them disobedient, would you send them off to other people in your neighborhood and then watch those people trod them down, abuse them, beat them, and everything? Wouldn't you want your own father, mother to do? I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't let nobody else beat me. Now, my dad and mom could beat me, but nobody else better not try to beat me. I mean, would you? Maybe y'all, because I know y'all didn't get whoopings. That's right. Y'all didn't get whoopings. Y'all didn't get them. I got whoopings. And my mom and dad could whoop me, and I still love them. Don't let nobody come up in the house whipping me now. Nobody else could whoop me like my mom. Right? I mean, my mom could whoop me, but ain't nobody else going to be whooping me like that. But that's what he's saying here. He's saying, you give your people to all these people. They're gainsayers. They don't even believe in our covenant. And you let them trod us down. You let them whoop us. Why don't you whoop us? Oh. Huh? Right. But what he's saying here is, why don't you punish us? Huh? We would die. Why you give us to other nations for them to punish us? Oh yeah, because when we have questions or comments, people who are listening, they can't hear. They just hear me. They don't hear the question or comment. So we got to make sure we pass the mic. Why you let other people punish? Why don't you just punish us? That's it. Let's verse 30 again. If thou didst so much hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands? You get that? Now when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night before was sent unto me. So Yah's going to send an angel. He go, I know you're talking to Yah, but I'm going to send an angel. And said unto me, hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, speak on, my Adonai. Then said he unto me, thou art sore troubled in mind for Yasharel's sake. Then he asked a question. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? Do you love Yasharel more or better than the one who made them? Our Abba? Yahuwah? Do you see what, I mean, he has sorrow of heart for his people because of the punishment that they're going on, what they're under. And so the angel says, what, do you love your people more than you love Yah? Because I think you kind of alluded to it. They kind of deserve that punishment for breaking the covenant and for being disobedient. I mean, I still hear it now how Israelite, those, how they talk against, you can't talk against his law and not talk about him. You can't do that. He is his law. The law was made flesh. When you go against his law, you're going against him. Yasharel as a nation went against his law. So yes, he punished them. So the angel says, what, do you love your people more than you love Abba? Anybody? No. Because for every sin, what must happen? Huh? Somebody's going to die. For every transaction, every time you go up against him, every time you break his laws or something, there's a penalty to pay. So, do we love his people because they're suffering more than we love Yah because he is a Yah of law and order? Yes, Akoti. Is it up?
Hello, it is. They got it. I see, where that the angel is coming from, but he's angelic and I don't know that angel has the capacity to feel like humans feel, because when you see like the carnage and the suffering that Yasharel, yes, we brought it on ourselves, but when you see them hanging from a tree, with a belt, or you see like there was this one slave who had, and I can't think of his name right now, but he was famous because he had been whipped so until it just changed the whole structure of his back. And you see that, and then you see, like it talked about babies being thrown over the ships, and just even into modern day, the things that Yasharel is suffering. I in my finite mind, I'm like, no, I don't put Yasharel above Yahuwah. But I mean, the humanity in me is like, that
It's
is
painful.
is painful.
It's, yeah.
You know, so I don't know how I would answer that. You know,
Because you're empathetic because of your humanity, like you're saying. I can feel what Ezra is saying because I'm human, and Angel has not been touched, like we've been touched. So even though he's a spokesman and representing Yah, because Yah didn't speak to Ezra, he sent an angel. You deal with it, you talk to him. And so that angel, Ezra could have said, hey, look, you're not human. You have to obey. Well, I guess he doesn't have to, but, because we've seen what the top one did, right? He rose above and said, I'm going to be like, in fact, he said, I'm going to be above the Most High. Yes.
He never intended for them to do what they did to us, like they have done. He said, you went beyond. I don't know where that scripture is at, but he said, you went beyond even what I even imagined. You went beyond that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so let's go to Zechariah 1, verse number 15. Zechariah 1:15. This is what Moray Gerard was talking about. He says, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. Is that up there? Yeah. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. So they was going to get punished, and I was going to use the heathen to punish them. You took it too far.
but I mean, but Yahuwah has infinite, knowledge and wisdom and foresight. So I know he had to have known that they were going to forward the affliction.
Right.
I know he had to have known that they were going to, because they're heathens, and they are just, full of just unrighteousness and iniquity. And of course they're gonna, heap their anger and just displeasure, and just doing the most.
Right.
So I know Yahweh had to know that.
Well, he does have infinite wisdom. He knows all. He's
So I know
declared
he
the
knew.
end from the beginning.
Right.
So
I
he
know.
knew all of that. But that's why he's going to judge the heathen nations. And that's why we see it in Matthew 25. We see it in Matthew 25 when Yahusha starts to divide the nations, and he says, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. When I was lonely, you visited me. When I was in prison, he goes through all this, and they would say, wait a minute, when did we see you? He says, when you did it to the least of my brethren, you did it to me. Talking about his nation, his people. Then he turns to the other ones and says, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was naked, you didn't clothe me. When I was thirsty, you didn't give me nothing to drink. You did nothing for me. You know what he does with those people? He sends them out to the lake of fire that was prepared for the devil and his angels. That's in Matthew 25. So they're going to get their judgment because they furthered that affliction. You should have took care of my people. Judgment's on my people. I'm going to judge them. I'm going to use you to judge them. But you took it too far. You shouldn't have done that. You had no business hanging them. You had no business doing what they did to Emmett Till. You had no business doing that. You just did. Yes, they were going through their punishment. Yes, they had to go through their curses, but you took it too far. So he's going to judge those nations. He's going to judge them, and it's going to be very harsh on them, because where they're going is a place that was prepared for the devil and his angels. And those people, because, see, we think everybody can be saved. No, everybody cannot be saved. Everybody cannot. But that's what we've been taught all life. Oh, the whole world has an opportunity to be saved. No, they don't. No, they don't. Not the whole world. You do have those who are that are not Israelites, who he will give grace and salvation to. He will do that. But it's not given to everybody. They have to be grafted in to that good olive tree.
what you said, I know that the heathen are going to be, he's going to punish them for what they did to his people. But
Yes.
when I was like, when we were studying, I think the transatlantic Atlantic slave trade, it's got a multitude of nations, that were like the Spaniards and the French, and then and Switzerland, and all. I mean, like it's a bunch of them that like just sold his people for like cattle and treated them, inhumane. So I mean, like that right there is enough for me to take my breath away, because it's not just a small set of, it's a lot of nations, that are going to have to pay for what they
Right.
did to Yahuwah's people,
Right.
and are doing to Yahuwah's people.
Right. Right. There is. They're going to. He's going to if he's going to judge his own people, he's going to judge every nation too. If we can't escape judgment, neither can they. No, in fact, nobody's going to escape judgment. You're going to have to. Yes. Yeah, that's what he said. Judgment begins at the house of Yah. I'm gonna start with my people first, but yeah, you can't. Nobody is going to be able to escape judgment. So everybody's going to have to deal with their. Yah would not be righteous if he only judged his people and nobody else, because I mean, there's judgment on his people. But he would not be righteous if he didn't judge no other nations. Oh, he's going to judge them. He's going to judge them. Okay. So we were in Zechariah, but let's go back to 2nd Ezra's 5, and we were at verse 33. And I said, "Speak on, my Adonai." Then said he unto me, "Thou art sore troubled in mind for Yasharel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them?" And I said, "No, Adonai. No, I love Yah. No. Don't mistake this. I love Yah. But of very grief have I spoken." And that's what you're dealing with. That's what you're sharing with us. "For my reins pain me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment." I don't want to know everything. I just want to know a piece. Just give me a piece. And listen to what he said. And he said unto me, "You cannot. You can't even get a piece." Yeah, isn't that something when you got men, teachers and preachers think they got so much? And that's why when I hear people say, "The Lord spoke to me last night," I'm going, okay, well, I want to hear what the Lord said. Because you got all these people talk about how he speaks to them. All these prophets, and I got a word from God. Okay, well, let's hear what your word is. I want to know what word you got. Because people, they present themselves in their teaching, their preachment, and they're so haughty. They're so haughty. Because for one thing, Yah don't speak to everybody. Now, he might send you an angel. Ezra was a priest, and he sent an angel to him. Daniel, and he sent an angel. Sent Michael. Michael had a problem with, Gabriel had the problem with the angel over what was that? Was it Tyre? The prince of the prince of Persia, or the prince of Tyre? It's in Daniel, but Gabriel was going back and forth with them And so he called for some help because it went 21 days, and then Michael came, wiped him up, get out. You know. So let you know that the Prince of Persia, some of those angels over those cities are pretty powerful. There's an angel over this city. There's an angel over. When I say angel, I'm not talking about the good angel, but there is a spirit and a power over Chicago. There is. Chicago's very dark. There's some powers of He said, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, but with powers, principalities, and what? Spiritual wickedness where? High places. High places. So yeah, there's some, he's got some of his demons held, and we ought to be glad, because some of them are out, and they're over some of these cities and stuff, and countries and people. But it just, when people say that somebody talked to them and everything, okay. Let's see what he says here. And he said unto me, thou cannot, you can't, I'm not going to give you a piece of the judgment. And I said, why? When he says, wherefore Adonai, he says, why? Why? Then he goes, whereunto was I born then? Listen to him. Listen to Ezra. Or why was not my mother's womb then my grave, that I might not have seen the travail of Jacob, and the wearisome toil of the stock of Yasharel? And so, now listen to what the angel says. And he said unto me, number me the things that are not yet come. So give me a list of future events. Just start listing them off. Hasn't come yet. Gather me together the dross that are scattered abroad. Make me the flowers green again that are withered. So this, he's telling them this. He says, open me the places that are closed, which is the grave, that chamber. There's a chamber, you go from life to death. And he says, open that door, open that, that's closed. And bring me forth the winds that in them are shut up. Now, this is what I like, and I ponder on this. Show me the image of a voice. That's the angel asking him now. Show me the image of a voice. Have you ever seen the image of a voice? How do we know a voice? We hear. We hear a voice. We don't see a voice, which makes me wonder the things that you say. Because, see, we don't have the vision. We're so natural. That's why Yahusha says, what comes out of you defile you? Remember he says that? It's what comes out of your heart. You don't realize because you can't see the very image of your voice. So a lot of times the things that we speak, and when we curse, and when I say curse, I don't mean profanity, because you can speak to, you'd be surprised how what we call church saints and church have put curses on folks, spoke word. We don't see the image of it because we're not privy to that. That's another part of this whole scheme. There's so much. Okay. Who was it? Elijah or Elisha? Who was it? That his servant looked out and seen all those in the valley, and they just covered the valley. I mean, as far as you can see, he seen nothing but an army. And he was scared. It was Elijah or Elisha. He said, man, we in trouble, man. We in trouble. You see this great army? So the Most High, he asked the Most High, open his eyes that he can see all these fiery chariots that's got the mountaintop covered. So Abiyah opens his eyes. Whoa! I didn't realize, because there's a lot of things that it's not privy to us unless Yah opens it up to us. There's a lot of things that we don't understand. There's a lot of things within our own world, our own environment and stuff that we are not privy to seeing or understanding. There's so much in this book that is just surpasses us, which makes me laugh at people that are so haughty that think they got it all. I might ask them, have you seen the image of a voice? I might ask them, what's the weight of fire? What's the weight of fire? I mean, because we got a lot of people that's full of pride. Oh, well. Huh? I think people just need to just read and ask Yah to open their understanding, or maybe show them something that they can't see, because it might scare you to death. He starts opening up things to you. It might scare you to death. He even told us there's a world that we're not even supposed to be messing with. Right? King Saul, where'd he go? To the witch of Endor. And cut him off. Cut him off. Because she was able to open up a door. There's some powerful, now you got some powerful people now. And then I will declare to thee the thing that thou laborest to know, if you can do that. And I said, O Adonai, that bearest rule, who may know these things, but he that hath not his dwelling with men? You can't be human. You're not. If you can answer those questions, you're not human. You're from another realm. You're from another dimension if you can answer those things. Us in our human dimensions, we can't answer that. We don't see the image of voices. Abba Yah does. That's why he says every idle word is going to be brought back. We let a lot of imagery out. We said a lot of stuff. And that's why all of our prayers ought to be peppered with, Abba Yah, please forgive me of any sins that I might have committed that I don't know. I might have committed some sins against you. Please forgive me of that. Bring it to my understanding so I don't do it again. I don't want to sin against you. Because if we could see the image of a voice and some of the things we've said through life, I know, because that's some stuff I said. I probably condemned myself to hell 100 times because of some of the things that I said. But but Yah, you got to forgive me, please. I'm going before him. Okay, verse number 30. Now we ain't going to have time for all this because soon my time will be up. As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of these things whereof thou askest me? Then said he unto me, like as thou canst do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so canst thou not find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised unto my people. When you get to where Yah wants us to be, it's going to be beyond anything that you can imagine in this life. Anything. When he restores his people and what he's going to do for his people, you haven't even heard half of it. You haven't even heard half of it. And so he says here, or in the end, the love that I have promised unto my people. Remember, the promises was given to Yahshua. There's a lot of promises in this book. And there's some things that even John or Yahukanan had seen and even Shaul. And there's some things Yahushua had seen. He says, don't write that. He told him, nah, don't write that. So there's some things that we're not even privy to. There's some judgments of Yah we're not even privy to. And we ought to be glad. Don't step out of place. Don't get out of your lane. Stay in your lane. You know, we are human beings. We are the work of his hands. We're the ones that he's chosen. He's given us a law. He's given us, and we should be able to do it because I can do all things through the Mashiach, Yeshua, who strengthens me. I can't keep, why not? I thought you can do all things. He's given us his son. His son said, hey, I come to fulfill it. If you walk in my steps, you'll fulfill it too. Who knew no sin, neither was any guile found in his mouth. So I understand how he speaks. He's not deceptive at all. There's no deceit. Okay, verse number 41. And I said, behold, O Adonai, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. And what shall they do that have been before me, or we that be now, or they that shall come after us? Okay. So those that were before, those that are now, and those that come after us. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. Now what's so unique about a ring? It keeps going. You don't see the what? Beginning or the end. You don't see it. It's a ring. Okay? So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner? You know what he's asking? Anybody? Anybody? Like the day of Yahuwah? Okay, he's dealing with judgment. So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that been made? Who's he talking about? Huh? Those that have been made. Huh? Those that, so here's Ezra. Now you got all the prophets that went before him, right? And the children of Moses. I mean, yes. Ezra. Oh, yeah. Where's the microphone?
So this apocrypha here, is that before our prophets or after?
After.
That's after.
After. This is after Malachi. This is that period of time, you know, when you had the Maccabean period and everything. It's before our Messiah, but it's after the prophets. So listen, canst thou not make those that have been made? So he's talking about all of those who predated him. All of those who predated him. And be now. So actually he's talking about the past, the present, and the future. The past, present, and the future. Okay? Have been made and be now, and that are for to come. Can you do that all at once? That thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner? Because he knew that the judgment was not complete upon Israel. He knew it wasn't complete. Even our day now, since our Messiah, it's been about 2,000 years. We're still under judgment. We still have the life of the Mashiach. We're covered by his life or his blood, but Yasharel has not been brought back into its glory yet. That hasn't happened yet. So Yasharel as a nation is still under judgment. So he's saying all that went before, all that is now, and all of that is to come, talking about us, he says, why can't all of that be at once? Basically, he's saying, let's just get this over with. Let's get it over with. I mean, we're talking about somebody that was speaking over 2,000 years ago. We're still here. He said and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner. Okay. Listen what he said. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. You hear that? Stay in your lane. I'm going to read that again. Then answer, because this is critical. This is critical. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. So the world cannot what? Hold everybody at once. How many, since the time of Adam till now, how many people you think has been on the earth? Because right now, how many people's on the earth? So if you go from today and go all the way back to Adam, when he made Adam, I think, do you think the world would be able to hold? Interesting. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou which givest life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature bear it, even so it might now also bear them that now be present at once. Now, you have to read that several times to, at least for me, because for me, I'll read it, but then I'll go back and read it again. Then I'll just kind of read it slow, because you want to be able to get an understanding, right? And he said unto me, all y'all women, and he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bearest forth children, why dost thou it not together? Why dost thou it not together, but one after another? Yeah. Pray her, therefore, to bring forth, how many did your mom have? 13. Pray her, therefore, because this is what the angel would be saying. Pray her, therefore, that your mother bring forth 13 children at once. No. My mom she gave birth to 14. So why don't she just do them all at once? Yeah. You can't have them all at once. There's at least 9 months, minimum 9 months. And I said, this is verse number 47, and I said, she cannot, but must do it by what? Distance of time. That's a clue. that's a clue. Distance of time. Distance of time. There's a time. There was a time in Abraham's day. There was a time in Moses' day. There's a time in Ezra's day. There's a time in our day. It's just that it's not going to happen all at once. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the wound of the earth to those that be sown in it, in what? In their times. Wow. Even so have I given the wound of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. So we're in this generation. This is our time. We were not supposed to be in Abraham's day or in Moses' day. That was not our time. So when he's dealing with Yasharel, that's why Yasharel's seed, it doesn't matter what the world does, they cannot extinguish or, what do you call it, extinguish? They can't get rid of them. They can't extinguish them, right? Is that the word? You can't do it because what he has promised and what he has given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will always be here in its time. So you have to have a people of Yasharel today, just like you had it when he gave it to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. So when people say, it doesn't matter what he said to Abraham, it doesn't matter what he said to Isaac or Jacob, it don't matter what he said to Moses. We ain't living in that time. But what he had given to them, he had given to us, but it just wasn't in our time. Because when he says, I'm going to give it unto Abraham, I'm going to give it unto Isaac, I'm going to give it unto Jacob, it is still in effect today. It's a different day and a different time, but just because it's a different time doesn't mean it's of none effect, or the law or his promises or anything. He's did away with them. When people say that all that stuff is done away with, they don't have an understanding of the book. They don't have an understanding of Yah. There's just a lack of scholarship when it comes to his Torah, his word, and Yah, when they say it's all done away with. Oh, I was getting ready to say, who's walking up in here at this hour? Okay, so everything in its time. So I really didn't want to get into all this. For like as a young child may not bear forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. And I asked and said, seeing thou hast not given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee, for our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. All right. He answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. The woman, just ask anyone. She'll say unto her, wherefore are unto they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Do y'all understand? Do y'all know that as a woman, that when you have your first child compared to your last child? And I mean, you see the difference. You see the first one is almost like in your strength, but then over after you had, especially because see, back in that day, you had some women that only had one or two, but most of the women had lots of kids. You had a lot of kids back in the day. In fact, if you didn't have no kids, it was a curse. People back in the day, people didn't get married not to have kids. That was unheard of back in the day. What are you talking about? Get married, not have kids? No, we get married, we gonna have some kids. And most parents, don't they tell you, bring me some grandbabies. Bring me some grandbabies. I want some more. Keep the family going, right? So you have your first ones that are of one fashion, but through the time of age when the womb faileth or otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. Does that sound interesting? To me it does, because when you talk about the ones who were, you go back a couple thousand years, back to the time of our Messiah, go back to the time of King Daud and back in that day, actually, we're not in that fashion of strength and vitality. I mean, even at the beginning, it was not uncommon to be 100 years old. That was, in fact, you was young. But he's going to visit it again. Circle of time is going to come around again, because it's prophesied that a baby's going to be what? 100 and still be a child. That, because it's the circle. Remember, you have the ring. It's going to come around again. It's going to come around again. And so, even for us, being fashioned after his body, our hope, and like Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, I think it is, he says that we are, what do we have? We have what are we hoping for? I'm going to get that real quick. Yes. In 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 1, in 2 Corinthians 5 and 1, he says, for we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, what do we have? We have a building of Yah, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Wow. So what we're waiting for is this. Even Paul says he feels naked without it. If you keep reading, he feels naked without it. But he had to wait for his time, because there's a time coming around again where he's going to have, and that's what our hope is, that we're going to have this body that is a heavenly body, or it's a body like the Mashiach. It's a glorified body. Which actually, any question or comment? Which is actually, that was created before this. Why would I say it was created before this? Anybody know why? Huh? And he said that body in the Shabbat, what about that body? It's what? Eternal. So that means it was before I was in flesh. Oh. You mean that was there before this flesh? Because where did this flesh come from? From your parents, but where did this flesh come from? Because when you die, where's it going back? It's going back to the earth. This body's going back to the earth. That's where it came from. But there's a body. And have you ever heard anybody say we're spiritual beings just having a earthly experience? Yeah. It goes back to Yah, who gave it. Your body just goes back to the ground from which it came, because, like he says, the wound of the earth. That's where all of us comes from, is the wound of the earth. You know, we come from the earth, but he couldn't populate the whole earth at once, so he just does it over time, and you have the cycle of time. Everything within its time. Everything within its time. But what I wanted to talk about tonight, and my time is up, but what I want to talk about was just how special we are. Just how special we are. That he would love us. And you know what? I'm going to go to Romans chapter 8. And let's just finish up with this. Just to show you how special you are. And what is Romans 8:32? Romans 8:32, what does that say? Huh? He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? That's how special you are. That's how he sees us. So we should never take it lightly. What we have, what he's done for us, what he's going to do for us. We should never discredit it. We should never walk on his good graces. Because if he spared not his son, he's going to give us, he'll give us what we ask for. If you believe it, like he said, who's believed my report? Who is the arm of Yahweh revealed unto? Do you believe his report? Any questions or comments? Any questions, comments? No? We say Todah for all those who have stayed with us throughout this Torah teaching, and we'll be back on the Shabbat. We'll be back on the Shabbat. We'll be back on the Shabbat.